Rachel Ram, and welcome to the last edition of Cuyler Elementary News 1. We've been with you all for most of this pandemic to bring you some laughter and joy, and we really hope it helped. But we've seen so many things together. Paris, New York City, Lyons, New York, Quarantine Quinn's bunker, Dolly Decimal's backyard, Mrs. Bobby Bushnell's fishing hole, Dave's mustache, and so much more. We really hope that you all continue to send us pictures and comments even through the summer. We love to see your bright shining faces. Let's get on to some shout-outs. First, we have Quarantine Quinn reporting for UPK and Kindergarten News. Quinn?
Well, thank you, Rachel. It's Quarantine Quinn back here today, and I'm feeling a little teary-eyed thinking about this being our last time together with all you cute little kinder kids and Cuyler students. You guys are amazing, and I really appreciate the way you guys have been stepping up to the plate. I really want to just leave you with a word of wisdom, and I hope that you, in this tough time, find the good in the world. There's a lot of stuff happening right now that's just not all that good. But remember, there's always good, even in the worst circumstances. I want you to look for the good in the world, and if you can't find any good, then be the good. It'll make you feel better, and it'll make everyone that you come into contact with happier as well. I tell you what, if you all live your lives like that, that will be sweeter than my mama's peach cobbler. And that's pretty sweet. All right, let's get down to business. I'm gonna start with those UPK and those kinder kids. So we got some UPK shout outs to start. We've got Mrs. Harder's class once again coming in strong. And once again, Sawyer Hargrave is doing very well. He can count to 199. You keep it up, boy. We got Kason Gilmore. Oh, he is feeding the animals at his farm. That is such good work, and it's fun too. Way to help out and have fun at the same time. Oh, and he's doing his daily chores, and he's taking time to learn with his tablet. You keep it up. Fun and learning all together. Nice job, Kason. Jeremiah Payne, once again, he's learned all his letters. Way to go, Jeremiah. And we have some birthdays this month in June in Mrs. Hardy's class. We have Ruth Bean, Adeline Eggleston, Sawyer Hargrave, Jeremiah Payne, Carner Carswell, and in the month of July, we have Hudson Pateau and Onalis Stevens. Wow, happy birthday, friends, and a shout out to Jeremiah as well. He knows all his letters in the alphabet, and he can write his name and his brother's mom and dad on his own. Good job, Jeremiah. Okay, next we're moving on to those kinder kids, and we're gonna start out Mrs. Southwick's class. We have Lily Richardson. She's been mindful, and she is taking such good care of her new baby goslings and the chicks. You keep that up. Ellie Higgins is next. Oh, she is very accountable, and she raised her caterpillars and she released them into the wild. She is being so helpful to all the wildlife in this world, and we really do appreciate that. You keep that up. Next we have Kenna Hall, and she's very mindful, and she hatched her new butterflies as well, and they land on her hands probably because they know you're so kind. Cash Date's next. He has been very accountable. He's getting his work completed so he can help his dad on the farm. There is so much fun that you can have this time of year on a farm, I'll tell you. It's awesome. Next, we have Caroline Malkett, and she has been very responsible with her learning, and she's sharing neat ideas with her class. You keep that up, Caroline. Oh, and a large, heartfelt thank you to all of Mrs. Southwick students and their families, siblings, and their parents. They are working so hard to support this distance learning. Let me tell you, none of us have done this before, and you guys are doing such an amazing job. You keep it up. Next, we're going to move on to Mrs. Van Horn's class. We have Avery Lunkenheimer, and she has been working very hard. She's accountable and mindful. She does her schoolwork, and she shares her choice board with Mrs. Van Horn. Braylee Huntington has been accountable and mindful. She has accomplished so much with their choice board this week. Keep it up, Braylee. Harper Dunn has been accountable and mindful. He's working hard on his schoolwork at home and shares his choice board. And Sophia Smith has been accountable and mindful. She has been working hard on her schoolwork at home, and she also is sharing her choice board with Mrs. Van Horn. And let me just tell you, I'm gonna miss you guys so much coming in weekly. You guys have a good summer. We got a couple weeks left, but finish strong and have some fun. You've earned it, and we just can't wait to see you in September. You come say hi to Quarantine Quinn, and I guarantee I will just give you a high five or a hug or whatever you need. And remember, your teachers care about you. If you need anything this summer, you just send us an email, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. All right, back to you, Rachel.
Thanks, Quarantine Quinn. Let's see what first and second grades are up to with Mr. Goodreader.
Thanks, Rachel. It's Mr. Taylor Goodreader, here with some special shout-outs for our first and second grade friends from Cuyler Elementary School. We're going to start off in first grade with Mrs. Fody and Mrs. Hokinson, who are so proud of all of their students during the school shutdown. All of them showed Rams continuously at home and with their teachers in the weekly communications. Mrs. Fody and Mrs. Hokinson would like to give a Ram shout-out to all of their students. Mason, Abby, who just became a big sister, Arabella, Amira, Avery, Liam, Finn, Faith, Bryson, Quentin, Vanessa, Braden, Rylan, Madison, and Lauren. We hope you continue to carry those Rams expectations throughout your whole summer, and we cannot wait to see you again soon. Mrs. Dumont, she wants to give a shout out to all of her first graders and their families. Nico, Cadence, Jaylyn, Rory, Bryce, Hunter, Liam, Lily O, and Lily P, Ethan, Ella, Caden, Joshua, Abigail, and Brantley. I know you are all working hard at home and trying your best. Thank you to your families for all your support and help. I couldn't have done it without you. You persevered through a very difficult time, and that's what makes me Rams proud. In second grade, Ms. Keefe would like to give a shout out to Christian Allen Brooks for working hard and doing extra assignments too. He's been a great pen pal each week. Capri Hadcock and Stratton Bymaster for sending kindness notes in the mail. Nadia Bonney for showing up ready to participate in Google Meets. Noah Sheldon for working hard at home and participating in Goody Meets. And then a shout out to Ella Stanton for working so hard on reading, math, and typing. Great job, Ella. Before I say that that's the last of the first and second grade, Mr. Taylor Goodreader would like to say how much I appreciate all of our students in all the grades, and I'm giving you each a shout out. Back to you at the station, Rachel.
Thanks, Taylor Goodreader. Let's see what those third and fourth graders are up to with Mrs. Busybody Bushnell.
Hi, Cuyler kids. It's Mrs. Busybody Bushnell, back for the last episode of Cuyler Shoutouts. I finally made it to the lake, you can see. Maisie and I came down here. We've been wanting to come to the lake shore to do our broadcast every week. But some weeks it was too cold, some weeks it was too windy, last week it was too hot. But we finally made it, just in time for the last week. Okay, so when we started out, I didn't know we'd be doing this for so many weeks. You can see my hair's a lot longer, and it has been some time that we've been doing these shout-outs. This, Maisie, is the last one. You can see she's already been swimming. As soon as we're done, I'm going to let her swim some more. I hope you get a chance to go swimming also this summer down at the lake. All right, here we go. The final shout-outs of the pandemic quarantine of 2020 for third grade. And we're going to start with Mrs. B's class. Mrs. Bartholomew would like to give a shout-out to Jamie Felker for writing a letter back to her, and Carly Waterman for having such a great attitude, even though she broke her arm during the busiest, most fun time of the year just before summer. Such great role models, says Mrs. B. I would also like to give a shout out to Ian Goki and Jada Lozier for putting good effort in on their genealogy and ReadWorks assignments. A shout out goes to Jacob Reinhardt, Ethan Kyle, Ian Goki, Carly Waterman, and Ryan Curtis for working on their Memorial Day treasure hunt and patriotic posters. And Mrs. B sends a shout out also to Ryan Curtis, Alexander Bishop, and Ian Goki again for completing some activities on Freckle. Way to go, boys! The biggest shout out goes from Mrs. B to all of her students that joined her Google Meets on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, especially to those kids that joined every day. It was wonderful to stay connected, have some great conversations, and keep up with current topics and assignments. I also have a shout out, says Mrs. B, to the parents that kept in communication with her during the distance learning by sending emails and pictures. Way to go, students and parents. I agree, Maisie. I sure will miss you all, says Mrs. B. She also wants to give a shout out to Mrs. Freilich for her active support this year. She participates in our Google Meets each week, makes an effort to connect with the kids, and has remedied oodles of computer questions and problems. Thank you, Mrs. Freilich, says Mrs. B. Now on to Mrs. M. Smith's class. She sends a shout out to Claire Dates, Evelyn Griffith, Kendall MacArthur, and Joshua Turner for turning in work over the sunny weekend. Claire Dates, Evelyn Griffith, and Lila Sampson for sending kudos to a classmate in Google Classroom. Claire Dates for balancing her work with her play. Lila Sampson for persevering and getting connected to Zern. That's important. Joshua Turner for keeping up with his work while he was on vacation and for adding so many interesting details to the class meetings. Parker Kyle for being excited to learn. Thank you, Parker. We love it when kids are excited to learn. Gabriel Lesko for his perseverance when he can't stay connected during the meetings. And to the parents of all students for supporting their distance learning plan. Kudos to all of you. Hey, Maisie, come on over here. Good girl. Mr. Rupert and Mrs. Osborne would like to give a shout out to the whole class for all the hard work that they have done and continue to do. They are so proud of you. In Miss Clunan and Mrs. Bushnell's class, that best third grade again, right, Maisie? We are sending shout outs to Braden Barrett, Connor Lorenz, Damon Keith, Cadence Mullen, Parker Buckaloo, Sophia Wiggins, Georgie Tote, and Hunter Capron. Those are the kids that consistently logged on and were able to attend almost all of our class Google Meets. An extra shout out this week to Damon Keith and Cadence Mullen for being the first ones to start working on this week's plant unit. Those guys are stars, Maisie. Thank you also from Mrs. Bushnell and Ms. Clunan to our parents also that pitched in and helped get all the kids connected when they could and helped with the work. We sure appreciate it. In fourth grade, Mrs. Hargrave and Miss Wilson are sending shout outs to Parker Couperis, Jimmy Erb, Hunter Santiago, and Colin Acom for being Google Classroom stars. Well, Rachel, that's all for third and fourth grade. But before I send it back to you, one last shout out to Mrs. Busybody Bushnell and Maisie's son for helping us every week take these videos. Students, take care, and I will see you next year in September. Come on down to the third grade wing. I can't take Maisie to school with me, but you can ask me anytime how she's doing and I'll let you know. Back to you, Rachel.
Thanks, Busybody Bushnell. Let's see what Dolly Decimal and Trigger Trigonometry have in store for us for 5th grade news.
Hey y'all, it's Dolly Decimal and Trigger Trigonometry. We just got done planting a garden in our backyard. We planted some tomatoes, some green beans, some red peppers, some onions, and some cucumbers. We are really excited to watch them grow all summer long. Aren't we, Trigger? I hear that this is our last week of shout outs. Although I am sad, I'm really excited at how long the list of shout outs are. A shout out to Mrs. Prosser's fabulous 5th graders. We persevered through many trying times, both in and out of the classroom this year. Through it all, being respectful, holding ourselves accountable, Being mindful of how others felt and remaining safe were always at the core of everything we did. I am so proud of the accomplishments that you achieved. Thank you for being RAM students. Mrs. Andrus and Mrs. Bates would like to give shout outs to all of their students. Cadence Bergen, Noah Camacho, Kaylin Dow, Caitlin Doherty, Eli Essick, Isaac Goebel, Tyler Gagnon, Delilah Gould, Riley Hoffman, Delilah Holbrook, Caden Horn, Ava Huntington, Ethan Huntington, Cooper Lorenz, Spencer Lozier, Ashton Mayu, Allison Sherman Green, Mason Skinner Stevens, Sabriel Toth, Madeline Warwick, Kendra Waterman, Bennett Weaver, and Justice Woollett. You all persevered through so much. We made it. You guys have done wonderful jobs, and we are so super duper proud of you. Mrs. Nodine and Mr. Goodwin would like to give their entire class a shout out for working so hard on their Rams this year. Way to go, guys. From Miss Pickard's class, a shout out to Peyton Stanton for being accountable, getting all his work plus mom work and reading done. Thank you for being so helpful with your little sister. A shout out to Jada Brown for always working so hard on her academic work and being accountable by asking for more work when everything was completed. A shout out to Evan Rupert, Mason Everett, McKenna James, Maya DeFario, Aiden Casson, Mason Barker, Maya Bishop, Taylor Bailey, Kyle Bacchus, Cole Castilla, Harley Horton, Lexi McAllister, Peyton Stanton, Austin Sturries, Sam Toth, and Anthony Tucker, who always did their best to show up and be present for their Google Meets with Miss Pickard. Miss Pickard always loved seeing your smiling faces. Miss Pickard would like to give a shout out to her entire class. She has loved watching each of you learn, grow, and let your personalities shine. Despite all the hardships faced this year, she feels so incredibly proud of you all and how hard you've worked to show her what RAM students truly look like. Thank you for making her first year teaching one that she will never forget. That's all for 5th grade. Back to you.
Thanks! Let's check in with Dave for special areas. I wonder if he found his mustache.
Thanks, Rachel. Hello, my name is Dave. It's good to see you again. I don't think I've seen you for how many weeks has it been? Many weeks. Very long time. As you can see, I have my mustache back. And I'm so excited. Thank you all for helping me. I received it in the mail. Don't know how you can send mustaches in the mail, but it was in the mail. Thank you for helping me. You are all so kind and thoughtful. So, for some special areas, we have a shout out to Elizabeth Frosto from Mrs. Hall for keeping a sunny disposition throughout her at-home learning. I'm going to lose it again. Oh. Mrs. Lapp says, shout out to Annabelle Smith and Mr. Rupert and Mrs. Osborne's class for being the first to submit 44 answers to the compound word challenge. Great job, Annabelle. Mrs. Wickowitz says, let's do a shout out to Bethany Keefe, Ava Huntington, Harrow Huntington for sending sound clips of themselves playing sight reading examples in the Sight Reading Factory website. Very good. Does anyone know how to keep a mustache on? You may need to comment below. Mrs. Griffiths would like Kaylee Garcia for coming to Mrs. Griffiths' Google Chat Tuesday and for doing such a great job reading a book and practicing sight words. It happened again. Somebody send me directions. Mrs. Thompson says a shout out from me to all my speech students who have been coming to our speech sessions and trying their best. I'm so proud of them all. Mrs. Madison says 4th grade. Shout outs to Riley Ashley, Danny Brown, Michaela Van Duzer, Wes Arquette, Brighton Cook, Marcus Penta, Braden Sturries, Natalie Brooks, Sophia Taylor, Duke Wright, Colin Acomb. 5th grade, Julius Palmer, Luna Sovey, Logan Bailey, Isaac Goebel, Preston Grimsley, and Justice Wallach. Let's try this again. Well, that's all for special areas. Back to you, Rachel. I found my mustache for the last time.
Well, that was all we had for you for our RAM shoutouts. Kids, just because we are finished with these videos does not mean that we're leaving you. Every one of your teachers and friends are here for you all the time. Remember, you are never alone. But I have one super duper important homework assignment for you to work on throughout the summer. Practice your kindness skills. Talk with your teacher or your parent about kindness and what it means to you. Better yet, comment below or show us a picture or a video of you being kind. Make sure to tag us in it. From all of us at Cuyler Elementary News 1, we love you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay positive.